I'm going to be scheduling a webinar here in the near future. I'm just trying to nail down a date connected to my calendar. But what we're going to be doing is all the legal research that we've been doing, but then also sort of general research when it comes to the science, the meaning of particular words, because words have meaning, guys. And it includes during this pandemic, words are very important. And so you need to be mindful of what those words, what the guidance, what the regulations say with regards to the justification for some of the things that are happening right now that can or is currently impacting your life, your personal life with regards to employment. Maybe you're not comfortable with the emergency use authorized vaccines. Maybe there's other concerns that you have, or maybe you have general questions as to what is emergency use authorization? Where does that power derive? What gives the federal government the authority under these areas to approve these products for use? The tiered structure of how this all came about and who's responsible, and what that means with regards to the legality of, let's say, mandating you at the cost of the termination of your job, or let's say mandating your college-age student to get an emergency use authorized vaccine, or just like in the LA Unified Public Schools in California, they're the first school system that I've seen that they're going to be pushing for mandated vaccines as well. Now, if you notice with these mandates, there's always these exceptions that they're putting in there, in order to steer away from the court just absolutely rejecting it outright. But understand that the exceptions and exemptions, anytime they're using the words mandates, there's always going to be the devil in the details. So everybody sort of needs to take a chill pill. Let's educate ourselves as to what emergency use authorization means. Where do those policies derive? It needs to be explained and broken down to you, because I think that there is a misconception floating around currently that there's an FDA approved vaccine on the market, and there is not one on the market. Comirnaty, or Comirnaty, I don't know how they say it, it's a stupid name anyway, but Comirnaty, which is the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, which was approved on August 23rd, there's absolutely clear guidance in their own documentation, not only from the FDA when they continued to approve the emergency use authorized Pfizer vaccine, and then the insert for Comirnaty, which is supposedly the FDA approved version. There are some rules there, guys, and I'm going to show you that documentation. I'm going to use their documentation, the FDA's documentation, and also Pfizer's documentation for Comirnaty, so that you can read it for yourself. And I'll have these PDFs available for you to let you know that the product that the FDA approved, Comirnaty, is legally distinct from the emergency use authorized vaccine, which is the COVID Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. There's a legal distinction between the two, and it's very important that you understand what that words mean, legal distinction. And it also says in its own documentation that the reason that they had to continue with the emergency use authorization of Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is because Comirnaty is not available. It's not on the market yet. Because technically, according to the FDA's rules with emergency use authorized products, once an alternative exists, once something has been approved, then the emergency use authorized products can no longer exist. All three of those still continue to be given under emergency use authorization, which means that Comirnaty is not available. So any employer, any school that says, well, we have an FDA approved product, that's not what they're giving people. And when people are uncomfortable that they're not getting an FDA approved product because there's no liability and all of these other factors, This is the reason. But this is what the webinar is going to be about. I'm going to establish it. We're going to define what that means. We're going to educate people so that you can make decisions with confidence and not out of fear. Okay? So stay tuned. We'll be scheduled within the next week.